One of the most common blocks in Minecraft is dirt, and I somehow ran out of it. I have no idea how. So I built the most over-the-top dirt farm I could, then the most satisfying bee farm ever, and found a chest with 0.02% chance of happening. Now if I can get 7 more notch apples, every wall will once again be filled up. So I'll do a quick elytra repair, fly down here, and boat along my blue ice highway. From there I can go through this portal, which leads to both my warden farm, and then activate this machine that disables the warden, because it's constantly activating a shrieker that is spawn-proof by carpets, so a warden can't spawn here, and when that's active, a warden can't spawn anywhere else. Next, I'm gonna fly in a random direction, because I need to get far, far away from my house to load in brand new chunks that I've never been to before. I'll explain why there needs to be new chunks in just a second, but what has happened here? Some sort of world loading glitch. I have a massive hole in the bedrock. I have never seen that before. It is so weird. And also so cool. But anyway, I'm going to get back to the task in hand. And that task in hand is to build a portal, which brings me to new chunks that are far away. And this means that if I do find an ancient city, it will be one that I haven't been to before, which means I'll have the opportunity to find notch apples because I haven't already looted it. The way to find an ancient city is to find a mountain biome. So I'm going to bump up the render distance and get busy searching. Also, that is a very cool cave. Sorry, I got distracted. I thought it was just so cool. It literally takes you all the way down here. Nothing much else to say. I just thought it was a pretty fun thing to fly down. And a mangrove swamp. Now, they are pretty rare. I have no use... Oh, a ruined portal. Also, you may be wondering why I just got an advancement. Well, when I temporarily downgraded my world in the last episode, I lost all of the advancements that were added in 1.19. So I'll have to get those back at some point. This looks like what I've been looking for. Just in the nick of time too, since I ran out of firework rockets. Thankfully, I can grab a lot more from me shulker box in me ender chest. You know me. I always come prepared. Now we're going to dig down, and if all goes to plan, fall straight into an ancient city. We're now getting down to deep slate, and skulk area is... We're in! And there was one at the bottom. Okay, I don't want to waste obsidian like that. Instead, I'll grab stone. That's much better to be used. Okay, nothing there. For this to be a successful journey, I need to find 8, which is quite a lot, all things considered. Also, this shrieker doesn't activate, as I said before, because the shrieker in the warden disabler is still being loaded and still trying to spawn a warden. Looting these is also so much easier when you don't have the darkness effect, because you're actually able to see all of the chests from quite a distance. There it is. Notch apple number 1. Now there's just 7 more to go. Although I'm not entirely sure if there's actually going to be 7 more chests with notch apples in this city. I may still have to go and find a few more. Although there is still a few chests here and there that I haven't spotted. So I'm optimistic that I could get at least 1 more. But we'll just have to see, because I was very lucky in the last episode. I can't expect that to be... What? 4 notch apples in 1 chest? That... I've never ever seen that before. I almost feel like going home after that. I didn't even know such a feat... Oh my goodness! 6 notch apples in 2 chests. I know I flew all the way across to get to that other one, but that is ridiculous RNG. I should enter the lottery right about now, because I've probably got more chance of winning that than I have of those notch apple chest chances. Now I feel very good about digging out and searching for another ancient city. I'll have a go at looking underneath this mountain, since it literally lets me fly all the way down. Just sadly not all the way down to what I was looking for. I'll try giving this mountain a bit of a dig instead. Mission accomplished. Now to track down 1 more notch apple. Shouldn't be too hard after the look that Oh my goodness. Yeah, I told you, after the look I've been getting, it's like Minecraft's on easy mode. Haters will say it's fake, but I can assure you I am as gobsmacked as you guys. Although after getting 4 in 1 chest, nothing surprises me anymore. I'm not sure when, but at some point I found 2 more notch apples. I've just been mining away at the chests. My editor might be able to find the moment for you guys. But anyway, this place is searched and... I can fly all the way out. That is beautiful. Although not that I needed to fly out since I'm going back in another portal. But it was still very satisfying nonetheless. And we've come out right by a bastion. Is it a treasure one? If it is, then it's very useful. Why is it very useful? Because first, once I get rid of you, and also you guys. Whoa, he went for it. I can then get things like netherite ingots out of the chest. And netherite ingots are the only thing that I think is worth coming to these. But oh, there's 2. Beautiful. I'm also going to take all the gold blocks as well. And interestingly enough, piglin bastions are probably the place that I'm most like to die in my world if I'm going to die. So I don't like to stay here longer than I need to. Instead, I'll make the long 5,000 block flight back home. And now that I'm home sweet home, all of these beautiful notch apples can be added. And since I've got 4 left over, I can head to the Blackstone Pyramid to add them into here as well. That's a job well done. I'll drop off all this junk. And getting notch apples isn't the only cool thing from ancient cities. You also get quite a lot of XP bottles, so that increases my collection, which is very nice indeed. Now I'm going to say something that sounds completely ridiculous, considering I'm in a world that I've been in for over 5,000 days. But I'm always running out of wheat. I feel like I need to build a massive wheat farm so I don't have that problem again. I did have my Tower of Slavery, but something happened to all these villagers and they're no longer with us working away. And they would only get me bread anyway, not really wheat. I mean, I know there is some wheat in here, but that's because I modified the bottom until that guy got stuck in the glass. It's just a mess. So I'm going to stop using villagers as slaves and instead just do the work myself. Such a project will of course require quite a lot of dirt, which would be much better if put into some shulker boxes. And of course redstone, because there has to be at least something that's automatic about it. I reckon the place to build it should be right around here. It's already a fairly flat area, which is very handy. The storage is going to be there, and hoppers are going to run into it, plus hoppers will run along this way too. From here I need my trusty dirt. I'm also going to remove the hoppers, add glass, and I end up with something that looks like this. The next plan is to have pistons. Actually, I've changed my mind about how they are. Instead, I'll put glass here and pistons pointing downwards. The reasoning behind that is just so that it's easier to activate them, because now all I have to do is have concrete next to them and redstone dust along here, and they should all extend. And now my plan is to place loads of these in a row, keep adding redstone till it runs out of power, which is right about there. So give it another repeater, more redstone, and pistons can be added all the way along. From there I shall extend out the dirt so that these platforms are now much wider. Next I'll run this glass all the way along and place it as a border so that the water doesn't drip out. And then quite an important bit is needed along here. In fact, so important that I forgot to make a space for it. And that is the water. Without it, tilling the ground would not be very successful. Also, you can tell I completely forgot about it because this entire build is now a little bit skew-if. Instead of the repeater being here, it should be here where there's no piston. And this glass should also be removed to make this whole platform a couple of blocks wider. You know, I'm starting to think that just using the villagers as slaves is much, much easier than what I'm doing right now. But I suppose I can't keep doing that forever, so there's no time like the present to do my own manual wheat farming. Now, before I actually do any more of this build, I just want to double check it actually works and the water flows. So I've tilled the ground, set it all up. If I break this torch, it should all open up. Come on, be satisfying. Go all the way. Stop just before the hoppers. It's beautiful. It's beautiful and it's working perfectly. Then to shut it off, the pistons go in. Oh, it's fantastic. So that means I can safely till this ground. I've never got so much use out of a hoe before. And also add in the water behind here. So there will need to be more hoppers along here. And I'm basically going to take these two modules that I've got right there and remake them along here so that there's 4 of them. Although I'm starting to think that you didn't need me to tell you that 2 plus 2 is 4. I'm sure you could work that one out on your own. But yeah, the plan with this is to make it so big and have so much wheat grow that once I plant it and harvest it once, I'll never need to replant it again, because I just feel like the replanting thing is going to be what takes the longest. I always break ice to turn it into water because it's a bit more compact than carrying loads of water buckets. But would you believe it? I ran out of ice. Or did I? Well, you see, that's the beauty of building this farm right next to the ice farm, because I can get lots more ice very, very fast. In fact, I got a lot more than I'm ever going to need or could ever carry. And with that, the water adding can resume. And so can the hoe using as well. And once I've added all the water in behind the pistons and tested everything to make sure it properly works, you'd think that the farm would be completely finished. But oh no! Last episode I built this massive over-the-top system for brewing, so when it comes to building a wheat farm, I'm also going to build a massive over-the-top system for that. That's one farmland section done. One long line of concrete will go all the way across, and then the pistons, plus the redstone, can be added in. I have also created one fairly major problem with the farm in adding an extra layer, and that is that under here, it's going to start to get dark. The only question is, will it be too dark to be able to plant down seeds in every position? It doesn't look like it, you know. It looks like it might just be light enough. And so now with all of the technicalities out of the way, I'm going to build this farm up a few more layers. I've made a pretty good amount of progress, 5 layers to be exact, but unfortunately I have run out of glass and I have run out of ice to finish the top layer. Do you know what that means I need to do? I need to head down to the storage room, grab some emeralds, and whilst I'm here, an ink sac to turn to black dye will be handy. Then I'm going to fly all the way down here so I can get to my end portal, because I have a very, very useful farm for getting glass in the end. What the heck is an enderman doing it? And what are you doing with one of them blocks? Who do you think you are? Sorry, I didn't mean to make you mad. I'll see you later. Another one? Why is there so many endermen down? I'll just head through the portal before he gets... Oh, this is terrifying. Quick, go! What the heck? I've never had that scary experience with an enderman before. But here I am at my void trader. This guy sells glass, so let's press his button. Should also clear some space in my inventory. And now if I open up his trade as I go through an end gateway, because he's now unloaded, I can trade with him. Open this barrel, which will push me back through the end gateway, and his trade resets. So basically, I can trade with him infinite times. And very conveniently, the XP I get from the trading will then go ahead and repair my hoe. Realistically, all of this should be enough, but I'm SP737, I always like to go over the top, so I'm going to collect up way, way more than I actually need. At this point, I reckon I've got enough because I ain't even got space for all the emeralds. And I also filled this shulker box as well. So a bunch of these can be black. And then to finish this project, there's only one other thing that I need. Although I've just realised a slight disaster, which means I've got to head all the way back to the end because I accidentally left all my redstone behind in these shulker boxes. And now it's back to the ice farm to grab, yes, you guessed it, a load more ice. Bet you didn't see that coming. I was going to go around the whole farm, but I think I've got enough ice. As much as I like going OTT, even I know when enough is enough. So now that I can finish adding the water in here without having to worry about it freezing over, I can then take out my hoe and till all the ground. Although I'll probably do that bit last because I want to get all the water and pistons and redstone in first. Otherwise, something like that would happen and I'd end up jumping down, trampling it. Just for safety purposes, I'll do it at the end. You know, the good thing I always think about building a machine like this is at the moment I'll be planting wheat in it and that'll be great. But eventually, I can do other crops like potatoes, carrots, beetroot. Like, it's not a one type farm, is it? So if I ever need 7 million carrots, I know where to come. The final bit for this top layer is just to get the final bits of ice in, test it to make sure that it works, and then till every single bit of the ground. Fantastic! There will need to be a bit of redstone along here as well, so that I'll have some way to control the farm, although to do that, I'm going to need a lever. Otherwise, it'll be very, very hard to control the farm. Perfect! Everything's successfully rigged up. I don't want to use it though, because, you know, this wheat is still growing at the moment. Instead, I'll fly up to the top and begin the giant wheat planting process. Already ran out of seeds, not even done the first layer. But thankfully, I do have an older wheat farm. It's not like that one, and it's not one of those ones. It's a wheat farm that is not there. That's where the turtles live. It's as I was saying, it's a wheat farm that would ordinarily use bone meal. So there is some seeds in there, but not very many, all things considered. That's my bones chest, as you can see, plenty in there. Maybe down here, there's some sort of save. Yeah, there's quite a bit of seedlings there. So once I run out of all of these, that'll be it. Not a massive worry though, because the farm does produce seeds when you use it. So eventually I'll be able to fill it all up. How much of this one I'll be able to do, I'm not entirely sure. Now seeding up layer number 2 can begin. Now apparently these can't be planted because it's too dark. Thankfully it's nothing that a few torches won't fix. Layer number 2's complete. And also the 3rd. And I can't do these final few bits because I have run out of seeds. But if you ask me, that's a job well done. Now for the next thing that I want to get done. As I said earlier, the downgrade in last episode removed some of my advancements. Why a complete catalogue was one of those, I have no idea. That makes no sense. They didn't add any cats in 1.19. That's actually really annoying. I've got to go and tame loads of cats. But to start off with, I'm going to do the ones that I know I can definitely do. Such as 2x2. Very nice. And then for this next one, I'm going to need a water bucket. So I'm going back down to the old storage room. Since I have a chest full to the brim. Well, not quite to the brim, but it's got plenty of water in it anyway. And then I'm going to sit and wait. Wait for this frog spawn to become a tadpole, because the next advancement is to get a tadpole in a bucket. Also, if I make sure that my render distance and simulation distance is high enough, the wheat farm all the way over there will also be growing. There we go, it's just hatched. Literally just sat there for 5 minutes waiting. Now to get you in a bucket. There we go, we got bucket. I wonder if that's a nod to the bucket API that Minecraft servers use. Could be, not really worth thinking about. My wheat is slowly but steadily growing nicely, which is good. I think this is just one of those things that I'll harvest in like 50 days time and it'll be great, but there's no point rushing it. Now for my next 2 advancements, I'm going to need a lead. Actually, I'm going to need several leads. One would not be enough for this. And apparently I need one of every frog type on a leash. The only thing is, I don't have every frog type in here, do we? So that's that out of the question. Which one am I missing? I think it's the one that comes from the desert. And I ain't dragging one all the way over here. So I've got a backup plan, don't you worry. Because remember, I'm SB737. And I've basically got a build for everything. And that includes a frog light farm, which I've got built above the nether. As you'll no doubt be aware, when a frog eats a magma cube, it drops a frog light. So this farm spawns magmas that go after the golem, they fall in the powdered snow, and then frogs in there will eat them. However, yeah, you see, we just saw it, we could see him bouncing about. So, I need to somehow remove some snow so I can put them all on a lead. And unfortunately, I thought I was going to get one of every frog light in my inventory, but I ain't got them in there either. I must have emptied it last time I was in town. Anyway, I'm going to go and get a load of buckets so I can pick up some powdered snow and get these 2 done pretty quickly. All of them should do the trick. And I'm pretty sure in this shulker box, yeah, we can get one of everything. I knew I had frog light somewhere and plenty of them. There we go. Challenge complete. Now to start picking some of this up. Hello, frogs. You have been revealed. Don't try and jump out. No, we're not having that. No escaped frogs. I just need this green one. There we go. The squad has hopped into town. Then I need to attempt to put back all of this powder snow. This is going to be... Stop jumping out, frogs. You're not allowed to leave. You're part of my farm experiment. Now, if I place this, am I going to be stuck for all eternity? Can I fly out? I think... yeah, we're in a bit of trouble here, ladies and gentlemen. This is how it ends. I shiver to death. Since you're not letting me out that way, I'm gonna have to dig my way. Oh, flipping it. Powdered snow's a real pain, isn't it? But it's alright. I'm warming up. I mean, I'm in the nether. How can you freeze to death in the nether? Could you imagine? Anyway, the farm's back in action. And I'm going back home. Although, actually, I'm not going back home. You see, I've got 2 reasons why I need to go and visit the end. Firstly, I need to get this advancement to take out a mob near a sculk catalyst, which can be done by going all the way down to my Enderman farm. It's not an Enderman farm, it's a sculk farm. And this would work if it wasn't for the fact I've got 100 dragons acting as a mob switch here. To fix that, I've just got to lower my render distance. And the farm is working, although I'm not the one taking out the mob. Ah, that's a problem. I think I just need to give him a bit of a punch as they go down. Okay, got to be careful about this. Guys, go and attack the Endermite now, please. My plan does not work because I'm not getting the credit for it. But don't worry, there's always a plan B. And that plan B involves getting this box of tools, which I've left in the nether for some time. And I just want them back. Then I can go into this shulker box, where I can take a singular sculk catalyst. And then I just need to find a victim, a candidate for this advancement. Hello, villagers. You ain't getting me any iron. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. Although, you guys, on the other hand... Hello, guys. There's nothing to see here. All I'm saying is I've got the advancement. The Sculk Catalyst grew. Let's not ask who or point fingers about who killed who here. With that, I'll make a swift getaway and focus on the final advancement. To tame all the cats. The main thing such a project is going to need is a load of fish. I don't even know where my fish chest is. Do I even have one? Is it cooked? It's raw. Oh, perfect. We've got loads of it. Those cats had better watch out because SP737 is coming to town. I also feel it's kind of necessary that I get more firework rockets, but apparently we're out of sugarcane. But I have 2 sugarcane farms. I have this one, which is along this little secret tunnel. And this one is one of the first ever farms I actually made. It's pretty slow. It's pretty simple though. So what can you expect? If I could just get down there, that'll be good. In here. Oh my goodness. It's been working for like a year. It's really come through. I don't even have to bother going to spawn. Because at spawn I have another sugarcane farm, which is way better and way faster. But yeah, no need for that. Instead, I'll just take all of this. And due to the purposes of slight OCD-ness, I'm going to grab a couple of lime dye. Because in my opinion, if you've got sugarcane in a shulker box, it needs to match the colour. Which it now indeed does. Now to grab a full one of gunpowder as well. Although they don't all match the colour. Obviously, I was too lazy to do it with those. And yeah, I'm just going to make sure this gets completely refilled. Because it's just going to be such a long journey going around looking for cats. There's going to be a lot of flying involved. So I don't want to run out of these. Looking good. And now to track down some cats. There's probably some of that village at spawn, but you know what? I feel like I've made enemies there, so I'm not visiting that place. Instead, I'm going to be best going to completely uncharted territory. Now, this could be the first candidate. I also hope they don't mind. I'm going to find it. Yep, you, sir. I'm going to sleep in your bed. I know you don't mind. Also, for those of you looking at the bottom left-hand corner, I know it's really small. It says you have no home bed or charge respawn anchor. A lot of people always say, oh, he died. No, I went to the end and didn't have a spawn point when I came back. Okay, just thought I wanted to squash that possible comment. You can tell I've been doing hardcore videos for a long time because I always get comments like that. Anyway, I'm not here for that. I'm here for you. I also absolutely hate taming cats because they're just annoying half the time. Like, this one's been good, you know? It's come up to me. And you've done it. Well done. But some of them just won't stand still and are just constantly running away from you. So you get close enough so they'll turn. And then, yeah, they just come on. I've got fish. That's it. What? You can't even turn your head or they run away. Finally. Have the fish. There we go. Job done. 2 down. 9 to go. And it looks like spruce villages are going to be the main thing on the menu. Although, ruin portal down there. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. I always like to check them. You just never know. But usually you just end up with rubbish, which is why I break the chest, so I don't make that mistake again. And now I'll see if I can find a cat on this floating island. What the heck? Imagine if you lived in this village. It's literally impossible to visit your neighbours that live over there. Although maybe that's a good thing. If you fall off, then you're never getting back up. And for some reason, all the pathways are in the water. Hey, but you know what? In pushing that guy off, at the very least, he can go now and explore the rest of the world. So that's good news for you, mate. And I need to focus back on what I'm meant to be doing. Hello, cats. Oh, come on. At the very least, there's 2 new ones that I can tame. Which means I'm up to 4 out of 11. And the search continues for a village that's crazier than that one. What the heck? I think something is... I think downgrading my world maybe did have some bad effects. I think the seed has changed. And now I'm coming to new chunks, or maybe these are ones I've already been to. Yeah, my world is more broken than you think. That would also explain why there was a hole in the bedrock in the nether. Everything has consequences. If I want to downgrade, that's what can happen. But hey, it was still worth it. I got to make a cool feather nortle, so that was good enough for me. And we've got a desert village. Perfect. Hey, I could sleep in another villager's bed. I don't know why I'm making a habit of this or boasting about it. Although you don't look to be using it, so I guess I will instead. Now, the real question is, Have you guys got any cats? You have. I'm sure I've tamed both of those, but then again, I'm not sure. This one, I don't quite remember. It was a new one, and I think this might be a new one as well. 6 out of 11. Perfect. Also, I don't know why you had to wander so far away from that village for that. You're going to be living all the way out here now. I felt like I had to follow it for ages. A desert pyramid. Well, I can't say no to visiting one of them. It's been a while. I remember the good old days where I had to come to these to find notch apples before ancient cities were a thing. Nothing really of use by the looks of things, just a couple of gapples and gunpowder. No idea why I took any of that considering I have unlimited evolvement, but I guess it can be worth it. Village number 4, I think. I might have lost count, to be honest. The question is there actually any cats here? And it's looking like a no. Well, that was a waste of time. Maybe the snow biomes will be better to me. And whilst I search, guys, I'm also so close to 4 million subscribers, so if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to help me get there. Sleeping in villagers' beds is apparently becoming a tradition now. Or an unhealthy habit, I'll let you guys decide. Nice, it's a brand new cat. In fact, make that 2 new cats. So there's 3 to go. Make that 2 to go. And now only 1 remains, which I think is the one that you only find at swamp huts. I could be wrong if that's still the case, or whether you can now find them in villages. Just looked into it by checking my advancements file, and the one I'm missing is the red cat. I can't believe I forgot about it. It's like one of the ones that's been in Minecraft for the longest. So both the cats that I've got here are not the ones I want. But hey, it's going dark. You know what that means. Just scooch over a tad, thank you. I'm gonna get some sleep and get back to the traveling. Aha! Red cat spotted. Now to tame him. No, come on, accept the fish. We're gonna have this our way where you just run really far away and I chase you. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. A complete catalogue. And I would like to take this moment to ask a question that I think we've all been wondering. Why are there 11 different types of cats and yet there's only 1 type of wolf? What kind of discrimination? Obviously, Mojang are cat people. They don't like dogs. I think it's unacceptable. There should be 11 different types of dogs as well. It'd be amazing. Oh well, hopefully they change it one day. And now the real question is, can I get home before my elytra break? I really hope so. I've just about made it back. Just in time to drop everything off. Get some sleep. Although, hang on a minute. There's a tradition here now. How many nights in a row can I do it where I sleep in a villager's bed? I guess today we're gonna find out. So with the complete catalogue advancement, I now have every single one. And my next project is to complete the squid switch. This was a project that got stalled due to my inability to brew enough healing pots to keep the squids alive. But last episode, I built a ridiculously fast brewer. So now I'm going to first get my elytra. Oh my goodness, they are very nearly broken. So yeah, I'm going to get them repaired. Managed to get a few extra levels out of that as well. Now to head to the brewing place. As you can see over here, I have a barrel. So I built all this last episode, brewed all these. Look at them. Absolutely full to the brim. So everything we need, we will take right there. Also, somebody commented saying, how am I walking on air or flying or something? It's grey stained glass, guys. Well, I suppose it could be an easy mistake to make. The other thing that I think is going to be pretty necessary is a bunch of hoppers. Have we got those? We've got loads. And so the squid switch is basically something that will disable any more squids from spawning in the world, because there'll be some loaded by a portal. If mobs are in lazy chunks, then they don't despawn, but they contribute to the mob cap. So that's how it works. But in the time that a squid is going to be here to let its portal cooldown finish, because it'll come through that portal, have to let its portal cooldown finish, and then go back, sent back through this big one, they're going to suffocate because they need air. So I created a system where I could give them loads and loads of healing pots that basically just has the goal of keeping them alive. Can't say I've ever built anything like this before using shulkers and hoppers, but it's necessary. I really hope this plan works because a lot of resources is going into it. And I'm not stopping with all of those. No. I have plans for way more, which means setting this entire machine off. Whilst I wait for that, I wanted to make an extra chest for spare shulker boxes. So it's going to go on top of there. These are just, extra ones I've got crafted. In fact, I might just craft a few extra. There we go. An extra 6 in the bag. The shulker boxes are filling up at a rapid speed. This was a very helpful thing to build. I think all of this should be enough. So I shall continue with my staircase of shulkers. It is massively over the top. But will it be enough? Will it be enough to keep all the squids alive? Well, it might be, but just in case, I'm going to go ahead and add a lot more. I'm actually starting to think this is getting so far away that I'm not even sure that it'll process these hoppers. So I might be better turning a corner and instead going like this. The reason I say that is because when an item or a mob, well, basically any entity comes through a portal, it'll load in the chunk that it's in. It will also load some things in the chunk next to it, and then it will load more stuff in the chunk after, but not everything. So whilst I am pretty sure it will load these shulker boxes, I'm not taking any chances just to be sure. It actually looks really cool. In my opinion, I think the shulker staircase of hoppers is amazing. Now then, where have all the minecarts gone out of here? Oh, they're still in there. It's just that the chunk loader isn't turned on. Okay, that makes sense. I may have also forgotten to mention, but it's a glow squid switch, not a normal squid switch. I feel like saying squid switch together really fast is like the biggest tongue twister ever. I don't think I could do it 10 times in a row. So this is the dark room that the squid will spawn, and then I'll throw snowballs at them to send them through the portal. I do want to make a little modification though, so that it works even better. It's going to be pretty simple, involving redstone and pistons. And it's basically just going to involve me mining out the roof, adding a row of sticky pistons that has redstone on top. I'll connect the wiring like this. It doesn't really need to look nice. It just needs to work. And the exact same thing should be along here. The same redstone, because it's above the obsidian, is powering both sides. Then just some extra tinted glass there, and the gaps filled in. Means that this will now be completely pitch black, but I can control it. I was finding, because I only had the bottom one that was moving up and down, that the glow squid were getting stuck on the top glass. Now, that will no longer be an issue. And I think I'm ready to set the glow squid switch up. Once I flick this, healing pots are going to be constantly dispensed from all of those. And that's when I've got to get through the portal as quick as I can. As soon as any squid gets sent through and the chunks are loaded, then the squids will be kept alive. So I'll head on up to this AFK platform, which will allow glow squids to spawn below. Then I swoop on down, flick this lever, and throw snowballs at them, which will get them to all go through the portal. If I can get them to go at a similar time, that's good. Because once they go through, the chunks will be loaded for 15 seconds, and that's when they can be taking damage. Since there's only one on that side, I'm going to leave him until there's more, because it's best to send as many few in one go, to avoid using too many healing pots. I mean, I've got loads, so I'm hoping I should be fine. But in my books, you can never be too careful. Is there any more here? Well, this is a bit of a letdown. There's absolutely none. On this attempt, there is a few more. So through you go. And you only need 8 in total for the squid switch to work perfectly. So a couple more times of this, and it'll be ready. This time I've got loads. Through you go. Come on, have I run out of snowballs? No, I've got more. Forgot to flick the lever though, didn't I? No wonder they can't go through. Come on, guys. Although they're all in position, which is a good thing. One more batch and I'll be done. I should do it. Just sent through another 4. And now it has to be noted that I can never come back here again. If I do unload these chunks, all the glow squids will die. So I'll say goodbye to this area, head through this portal, and this is where I've got to act fast, okay? I can hear the healing pots going off, which means there's still some left. The squids are still alive, which is good news. As they're taking damage, they're getting healed quickly. They're going to get pushed through. Don't escape, squids. What's going on? That's just a glitch. It's all right. And I'm going to wait for the portal cooldown, which is going to be 30 seconds. But they're still staying alive from the healing pots. It's unbelievable. And the timing's up. They get pushed through. The squid switch is done. I can turn that off. And would you believe it? I've still got absolutely loads of them left. Yeah, the brewing machine was overkill, and that was all overkill as well. But I've done it. Took me a few hundred days to properly sort it, but I have completed the squid switch. Definitely can't go home through that portal. I believe I also need to turn on the chunk loader, and that'll send a minecart through all the time. So now my bat switch is loaded, and my glow squid switch is loaded. But you may be wondering why. Why did I want to disable the spawning of bats and of glow squid? Well, it's pretty simple. It was actually all part of my plan to make finding notch apples easier. And by that I mean it's going to help me find more ancient cities without actually having to dig down. I'll know if there's one underneath me. You see, if I find a biome that's fairly mountainous, now this one's not that great, but it's a good example, and I then look downwards, you can see there's not many entities. Maybe there's a few in this direction, but basically I've got to look with the lowest FOV, and if I see a load of entities underground, then I'll know it's an ancient city, because ancient cities have loads and loads of chests in them. Now this is more of the kind of area where you're likely to find an ancient city, but this method will allow me to say for sure whether there is one. Doesn't look like there is, because there's basically no entities below me. I'll try this mountain as well, although the results could be messed up because there's a lush cave below me and I haven't built an axolotl or a tropical fish switch, so it might mess up my results. Still nothing again. Let's see if this one's going to be any better. And there does seem to be quite a bit in like that direction. Let me head across with this this terrible FOV. Yeah, it's all kind of below me right now. So by my calculations, if I dig down right around here, it worked! I fell into one. It's fantastic. Now, I probably won't hang around and loot it, just from the fact that I haven't got the Warden Disabler on. Oh my god, are you kidding me? First chest, I just thought I'll just check this chest just to see. Oh, well, quick while you're ahead. Do we just go for it? Alright, Wardens can spawn, but you know what? I'll search for as much as I can. Although trying to loot these with the darkness effect is an absolute pain, so I don't even know if I can be bothered. It's just proof of concept, guys, that it helps me to know where to dig down, because this wasn't actually underneath the mountain, it was next to the mountain. So, you know, it's just my new notch apple helpful method. Because now there are no bats, there are no glow squids, there are no mobs or anything to take up the entity counter. So if I see entities underground, I know it's either chests or mob spawners from a mineshaft or axolotls or something, so it's probably chests. And the only place with loads of chests underground are either an ancient city or a stronghold. Hey, we're at the old perimeter. Since we're in the area, I might as well chill here and collect a load more gold. I'm sure it'll always come in handy for me. That's a very healthy boost, nearly 4 stacks of blocks. It's also always a happy moment when I can add another notch apple to the collection. It seems that the wheat at the bottom has pretty much all grown. So in order to have enough seeds for everything else, I think I'm going to give it a little harvest. And it seems that these ones here are failing to grow because there just wasn't enough light for them. I guess because there was when I planted it, but then as I built the farm, the light got less and less. So that made them just stunt the growth. Got me a lot of seeds, hopefully enough to replant everything. Just realised as well, I should be using fortune to harvest it when I'm doing this because that gets me more seeds. I'm just forgetting all of Minecraft's basic mechanics. Every single one is placed. I had 30 seeds to spare. I thought it might be slightly more than that, but never mind. There's a few in here as well. Now to leave it to continue to grow and get some sleep. Now since I'm going to be allowing myself to use TNT duping for farms, and since I have completely run out of dirt, a massive dirt farm is next on the agenda. But I do also have the issue, and I don't know why, but all my bees have despawned, died, whatever's happened. They're no longer with me, so this farm is not really working. It's got 2 honey bottles in it at the moment. That's my last honey after everything. I can hear the bees, so I don't know where they are. It's just really weird. And absolutely loads of honey blocks are going to be needed to build the dirt farm. At the moment, I've got 3 stacks. I need about 10. So a honey farm is what I'm going to do. But such a farm will require loads more bees. So I'm going out in search of some nests. I always feel like spotting a bee. What the heck? Why have pandas spawned in a forest? This is bizarre. I think downgrading my world has had more seed problems than I realised. As I was saying before I saw that very strange thing, finding beehives is pretty difficult in forests like this because they're very obscure to see. And each tree has a much lower chance of finding one. Whereas if I go over into a plains biome, there's a much higher chance. I see, I found them straight away here. I'm going to breed you guys. Although apparently there's bees everywhere. Wait, is there more than one beehive? Is there one over there? Okay, well I have a choice to make. I can either leave the baby bee on its own out here because I've got too many for this hive. Or, no, it's too late. Can you get in? No! What have I done? Oh well, I'm sure you can find a new home. You're gonna live without any. Oh, what have I done? I would like to know, where on earth am I? Why is there a massive scaffolding tower here? Did I build this? Why would I make this? Scaffolding tower to Skyrim? I don't know. What is happening in my world? Found more bees, and I've got an idea on how I can save the baby bee. There's the hive. Is everybody in? In that case, I'll pick it up. And if I fly back to where I found that first hive, the baby bee is still here. Come on, get into this. This is your new home now. There we go. Alrighty, he's no longer going to be left behind. Glad to have that crisis averted. I'm kind of scared to fly around my world anymore in case I find weird things. Like, is this a bit of a seed bot? No, I think that's just normal. And we've got hive number 3 and hive number 4. Pretty cool indeed. I wonder if they're much more common. Oh, you guys, great. But I think there must be much more common in flower forests because I am finding them everywhere. I've also enabled a mini HUD tweak that just lets me see how many bees are inside each nest, which is so much better. So you can see here 2 bees, 1 baby, 2 bees, 1 bee, 3 bees, 3 bees. Just makes life way better. For example, now that I know I've got a wandering bee that needs a home, I can place this one that only has 1 in. And now we can live there. And now that I'm back, bee farm building can begin. Out of curiosity, I can actually see if there's any bees in any of these. So that's the 0 bees. What about all the rest? Because I can hear them, so you never know. Also, apparently things are getting stuck in these. Oh, we've got loads more honeycomb. Now that's handy. And every single one is empty except that one and that one. There actually turned out to be 4 that had them in, which is good. And to make this, I'm going to need hoppers, droppers, and dispensers. Now, to build such a farm, I'm not going to build it in this little honey place. I think it makes much more sense to instead build it at spawn, so the farm is always working no matter what. I feel like having it in the mega base could be a cool idea, like down this corridor. It'll actually just be the storage system, which you see at the end of this corridor, which actually would make sense if I just build it a little bit further forward, and then it is part of the next chunk. Next, I'm taking my pickaxe. I'm going to mine out this entire chunk. It's nice and light down here thanks to all these sea lanterns as well. I also think I'll keep all this stone and drop it off at my storage too, since it gives me a good excuse to use the feather nozzle. I'm starting with the storage system so that I know where that is, and then I can have all of the farm above it in the right place. It's just a simple little item sorter, or rather it's an item filter that will only allow honey bottles to pass through this. Okay, well that's not how it's supposed to work. The hopper should not be facing downwards. It should be facing like that. Now it works as an item filter. This farm is going to have 64 beehives in it, which means I need 64 droppers, 64 hoppers, and 64 dispensers. Also, the pattern being used is basically just to have droppers everywhere right now. And then in between each dropper, there's going to be a hopper, and it's going to create a massive clockwise loop that goes all the way around. So you can see we get to here, and then it snakes. It doesn't carry around the outside. It then carries up along here, then down here. Just so basically, it's a loop that involves every single module. From this bit, as you can see, it gets right back to the start. Now it's time for the dispensers, which will collect up the honey. There we go, and I'm gonna need grass blocks. I completely forgot that without them, I've nothing to place the flowers on. Kind of annoying that there actually has to be a grass block here. It's gonna ruin the storage thing. But anyway, we can't worry too much about aesthetics. Practicality is the main thing. The grass blocks are in, so now it's time to place all the flowers. It's just such a satisfying farm to build because it just keeps repeating. And before I finish it, I think it might be wise for me to build a bee breeder. I can breed them within the farm once it's all set up, but it would just be great to have the bees breeding as well ahead of time whilst I'm, you know, doing other stuff. I'm trying to be efficient, you see, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to make it right here. It's not going to be here forever anyway. Eventually, I'll remove it. The way this will work is the adult bees will be in here, but they will be too big to fit through that little gap. So they'll all pop out. There should be 3 in there, I think. And we're going to have the same thing on this side as well. They're also not going to come out when it's dark. I better get some sleep. There we go. We got 1 at least on each bit. I suppose maybe... I don't know if I need to remove this light. I think if I just place flowers like this, they should, yeah, they'll fly down perfectly. Once they're all down, I can remove that, place the slab, and then remove the hives and replace it with glass. Then I can just keep breeding until I get loads of them. I'll wait some time for the baby bees to grow up. And now to build loads of these all in a row, because we need a lot of bees. Module number 2 is done, and I can breed all of these. Now for a 3rd one right here. And now that's 5 of them done. So I'm going to get breeding, and I can continue building the farm whilst I wait. Now above every flower there's just going to be a temporary block. For that I'm going to use grass, and next I'll have walls going all above them. The next thing I'm missing is the bees. That's kind of an important part of the farm, isn't it? And until all these babies have grown up and I have 192 bees at my disposal, no more progress on the honey farm can be made. And for all those bees, 64 beehives are needed, which will be the home for all of these guys' babies. But I can't start doing that until the babies in here have grown up. In the meantime, I can make this passageway look a lot better. I would make it wider and taller like that one, but then it would start to mess with the redstone and the space and stuff. So I'll keep it narrow. Have yellow concrete as the floor. And then from this shulker box, I can make honeycomb as part of the wall. Right here, I want a redstone lamp because this is going to be the very block that turns the farm on and off. Put yellow concrete behind here. And eventually, there'll be honey blocks in front, but I need to get the honey to actually be able to do that. But now the question is, will I be able to craft enough honeycomb blocks to build this? I kind of used them all up on making the beehives, didn't I? Thankfully, honey blocks themselves are not that hard for me. And a redstone lamp is pretty easy to craft. The lamp there with honey like so. Because there has to be a grass block there for the flower, I'm going to just cover it up with glowstone. I think that's a good idea. Then use more honeycomb for the roof. The final bit of glowstone to hide the dispenser. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it done? Although I'm just going to tweak something. Yeah, I think glowstone all the way along makes this bit make a bit more sense. So it's time to do the redstone. Well, some of it anyway. All of the redstone in there is going to need beehives before I can get on with that. It's a very simple one. It's just basically a comparative fader clock that goes like that. And as you can see, every 3 seconds or so, it sends a pulse. A pulse that must connect to this dispenser. Finally, there just needs to be a torch. When the lamp is off, the dispensers are off. Now, how are my bees getting on? It looks to me like they've all grown up. These ones are not flapping their wings very much, are you? So in that case, we can begin phase... Okay, I'm going to stop with the bee puns, but we can start phase 2. And that is to remove this glass, give them some flowers to get excited about, and add walls. Apparently, I've run out of stone bricks, so we're on black stone now. And then need slabs along here so that nothing will escape. I'll breed a bunch of these. And because only the babies can escape, they will go out there. And I can place a beehive for them to all go into. So far, I've filled 2. I can see this taking a little bit of time. But as they fill up, I can add them to the farm, and I don't have to worry about them escaping because the bees can't come out until I remove the temporary blocks. So it's 2 down, 62 to go. I'm going to be busy as a bee. Okay, no, I said I wouldn't do any more bee jokes. All right, never mind. Let's just give them the flowers that they want. I've nearly filled up every single one that needs to be. Just a few straggler hives that need filling up, so I'll just keep breeding away. And in the meantime, I can take all these and continue placing them in the farm. I can't believe it's taken me this long to build something as useful as a honey farm. And I do also want to say that this honey farm is by one of the best farm builders out there, IanXO4. I just love some of the creations that he makes. And now every single one has finally been filled. I've placed some spares along so I can get spare bees because these are all my old beehives and bees nests. And once they're all placed in, I can begin Operation Add the Redstone. Every single beehive is going to have a repeater on top, which is why I had to wait until I got all the bees before I could do this bit of redstone. Now it's time for the fun bit, where I get to break these, and loads of bees. I think 6 into each area will appear. Maybe best doing this at an angle so I don't accidentally break the block underneath. Just listen to this noise, guys. Just the way they all pop out. I love it. It's so good. The bees will now be working away, getting me honey. Now I need to sort out this item filter, which requires honey bottles. I have a very small amount, which is all I'm going to need. And I think in this chest, yep, I keep blockers, so they'll be perfect for the item filters. Also, the last bee farm I made wasn't very efficient, so it just required thousands of glass bottles to make it work. So that then means that I have thousands of glass bottles in these chests, which is more than enough for what I'm going to need for this new farm, because technically it barely needs any bottles at all. That's the item filter done. The system that adds new glass bottles is also pretty straightforward. It can only, you see, add a new glass bottle when one gets used up, otherwise the system would just get overfilled. So to do that, we'll have a dropper, which is every time an item leaves, this chest will power, and then it will power this dropper, and then we're just going to go and have that into there, with a couple of chests on top filled with loads of glass bottles. 6 stacks in here will just get the farm going, and would you believe it, the farm is now done and can be switched on. It's working. Look at that, the honey's starting to flow in. So I found out that 4 is enough for it to work, which is perfect. So it's job done, ladies and gentlemen. That farm's just going to keep working. The honey is now going to come in very fast, like 800 per hour. 825 to be precise. And as I said, because I built it in spawn chunks, it will always be working in the background. All of that just so that I can easily build a dirt farm. Can you believe it? I'm also going to be using a lot of glass for this dirt farm. And I know I did get some earlier, but I want even more. I also think there are still plenty of emeralds at the Void Trader, but I'm going to check just in case. In fact, I'm not going to check. I'm just going to bring loads because I've got so many emerald ones here that I might as well. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have way too many. This really is a beautiful sight. And with these riches, I'll get busy trading for all of the glass, which is going to repair my pickaxe at the same time too. That's all emeralds spent up. You can see I've got quite a lot of glass in inventory. Plus over here, I've got a shulker box full. And over here, I've got a shulker box full too. Yeah, I always need glass for various projects, so I thought I'd get extra. Why not? I just want to check and see how this is doing. Is it as exciting as I was hoping it to be? Oh, it's magnificent. And you see, the beauty of this is I can then go and make the honey blocks and replenish the glass bottle supplies. I'm sure that'll get me all the honey that I need in no time. Now to start staining all the needed glass. The farm will also require loads of observers, which I think I've got quite a few. And I've got loads of cobblestone to craft them, but I think I'm going to make a cobblestone farm. It's way easier than making a dirt farm. I can build it at spawn and never have to worry about mining cobblestone ever again. The mechanic I'm going to use for it will involve waterlogging leaves, which will just make it so that explosions don't break everything, but the waterlogged leaves will also generate the cobblestone. That's everything required. Not really that much. This is the place I'd like to build it. I've got a bit of space here, so it's time to get to... Oh, there's a flipping ravine under here. I forgot about that. Doesn't really matter because I can just put stone underneath. And this is the shape that needs to be dug out. Now to add a few slabs and waterlog them. This will just cause all of the items to flow to the correct place. Now I've got to dig out a hole. It's a bit annoying because the hole should be 3 deep, but due to me choosing to build this in the one place where there's a ravine, means I've got to manually add all of the floor in. But hey, storing all this cobblestone is going to require the space, so I can't complain. You're probably starting to see how it's going to work, so any items will flow. You know what, I'll show you how it works. They go in there, they flow, and then if this hopper was full, for example, it would then flow to the next one. It just means it's a bigger storage than normal. Now I can start adding the leaf blocks. Now for the very long task of waterlogging every single leaf. Now for the cool part, adding the lava. You go like that and just watch. Oh, it makes cobblestone. You can break that underneath. And as that drops, it'll make even more no, it won't make... Yeah, it will make cobblestone. I knew it would. Now to add even more lava. And then I'll repeat it all the way around. That's now job done. I can finally sleep to get rid of this awful snow that's getting in the way. Next we need a bit of obsidian right there. Leaves around it. And you guessed it, they need waterlogging. That'll protect them. It's just... it's gotta go all the way back down here. Or at least I don't have to go all the way, technically. I can just do it from standing up there. Oh my goodness, they're on fire. They're burning. Alright, well, we got to get a move on. I'm pretty sure they won't actually burn away. Like, yeah, fire can be set next to them, but I don't think they'll disappear. I think the water should technically save them, but who knows? Right now, I'm just doing all the redstone components. With all the redstone done, I am ready to finally place the TNT. This is going to be the on-off switch. So flicking that will turn it off. We can also hear some TNT. I don't think it'll mess anything up, but just in case, I am going to remove a bit of snow on there because it shouldn't be there. Any ice that was once here is now gone. So I'm going to switch it on. Press the button once, which will just set off the repeaters, as you can see, and set off the TNT. And the TNT will blow up all of the cobblestone. And the cobblestone, it'll just basically blow up the cobblestone just as it regens. And the cobblestone will be coming down here, filling the hoppers. Okay, we'll have those grass blocks back, thank you. And it'll be getting me 75,000 cobblestone per hour. And it'll be working all the time because it's at spawn, so I'll never have to go mining ever again. Meanwhile, I want to see how this is doing. Are we overrun yet with honey? It's going very nicely, you know. I feel like it doesn't create it too fast that I can't keep up with it. But it's also going at a speed that gets me everything that I need. I'm going to be completely honest. I should at some point probably build a shulker box loader system for this, so that it will be way more, you know, better storage. I can run it for longer. because this is not going to take long to fill up, is it? I think it's about 7 or 8 hours before it's full though, so maybe it should be fine. And with that, I'll drop all of my items off. And since I did use up so many of my blaze rods, I've got barely any left. I'd like to take some more in shulker boxes and replenish my stocks at the fortress farm. I think that's enough time spent there. I should also have a little bite to eat. I'm starving. That's why we have a regeneration beacon, because dying of starvation would be a very sad way to go in my world. Look at that. The chests are absolutely full of it. And because pigmen spawn in the farm, it was also getting me gold the whole time that goes into the system. I might as well craft that and take it home too. 8 shulker boxes worth, a pretty healthy top up. Now back to the main project of today, the dirt farm. It's not going to take too many materials. Like if I compare it to the brewer that I built in the last episode, it's not really that bad. But if you compare it to any normal farm in my world, you'd probably say it's pretty massive. Honey blocks is of course one of the things that I need. I've almost got enough, but I didn't spend ages breeding loads and loads of bees for nothing. No, I did it so I could get loads and loads of honey blocks. Grey terracotta is another thing that I need a lot of, and I've unfortunately pretty much run out of the regular terracotta. I used it all up while building that mineshaft transformation, so a trip to the mesa biome is gonna be needed. It's amazing what random stuff you find in my world. Unlike the scaffolding, I remember putting that there. I've arrived at the mesa, well, what's left of it anyway. I don't know if this is the same one that I visited before, because that one had a beacon set up so I could really quickly mine all the clay. Doesn't look to be the case for this one, so I'll just build another. And hey, I was just short on leads. That's very convenient of you to drop by. Wasn't actually short on leads, I had 56, but hey, now I've got 58. I can use this to get me haste 2, which will allow me to mine faster, which means I can insta-mine all the terracotta that I need. It really does save me so much time, doesn't it? I pretty much just dug a massive tunnel going right the way through the whole mountain. Pretty cool. And I'm hoping after mining all of this, all of that, and all of that, and all of this, that I don't have to worry about getting more terracotta for a long time. Another tower. You know what? I must have built these. I reckon maybe like the scaffolding one, this one, I use it to transport a mob. I don't know what mob I would transport. Probably when building my mob collection I did it. On a lead and we floated back. I have no idea, but yeah, that must explain it. Ocelot. I bet it was an ocelot. Either an ocelot. It can't be a panda because we can't use pandas in with leads, so probably an ocelot. I've actually got no chest anywhere for normal terracotta. And in reality, I think I should, you know, maybe I should replace the seeds one with that. Because I end up putting all my pumpkin seeds in this one anyway, so there's no point having to give them their own dedicated chest. Didn't even realise there was a chest for carved pumpkins, to be honest. That's another pretty pointless one, isn't it? So to change the item, it's pretty simple. I've just got to find it. It's the seeds one. And I put them all in the chest already, didn't I? Then we just stick those in there, and it is done. With these newly obtained resources, I can smelt them and continue gathering everything that I need for the dirt farm. One of those things will be spruce logs. Now, the farm does create spruce logs, just as a byproduct. But I need a load of spruce logs just to set the farm up and make sure everything's correct. So I don't have any in stock, unfortunately, which means I am going to need to get saplings and bone meal, remove all this snow, and get growing them. I think I'm just going to go all out with the spruce and get more than I need. Even though the dirt farm is going to get me some. Maybe it's a waste of time, but this could be the final time that I ever use this farm. So it deserves a proper send-off. All that wood is going to be getting mine. Finally, it's all gone. We've got a massive shulker box full, and I can get back to collecting all the needed resources. All items have successfully been collected, so it's time to get it built. Although before I do that, I might want to repair my tools and my elytra, just so they don't break during the project. There we go. The plan is going to be to build it up in the sky, so that then I'll have space to build a blast chamber underneath it. That will harvest all the blocks for me. I'm going to start right here with a machine that is going to generate stone, which will then be turned into moss. From there, spruce trees can be grown on the moss, turn it to podzol, which can become dirt. I'll first fill every single one of these with water, and then place waterlogged campfires inside. I bet you didn't even know that was a thing, did you? Okay, don't turn to ice, please. That's going to stop it turning to ice when they're in there. From there, I can start filling the trenches with lava, which makes the stone generator complete. And I'm also going to need a little bit of redstone over here. This is going to be the output for the podzol, and it's going to make these pistons move, and as you can see, it's all going to converge and go into one line like this. The machine is starting to take shape, but as I knew I probably would, I've forgotten something. That there should be a wall right here. I need over 100 of them actually, so I'm going home to get them all. Gonna make them out of black stone, and then they can be stacked up right here. There's gonna be a bunch of packed ice all the way along here for transporting items, because anything that this farm produces that can't be used is going to be turned back into bone meal to make it super efficient. So things like saplings from leaves that are spare and stuff from the moss conversion will get reused to make it as efficient as possible. Now to start adding the water so things can get flowing, and it goes all the way around to these bubble columns that will also need to be filled with water, which might take some time considering there's 4 of them. This is why I needed so many observers. They are all going to detect updates from the rails and then power the pistons above. Guys, I made a slight mistake whilst building, and now I can't get out of here no matter what I do. Okay, well, I made it. Oh no, wait, I'm back in. This water must be removed, and hopefully doing this, yeah, okay, it should calm some of it down, but it's still going a bit crazy. Nice to stop everything going crazy. Basically, an endless loop was created between these observers and the thing, so I just removed those blocks in it. It solved the problem. Now to actually place the glass down this time. Just curious, how is me honey oh, okay, whoa. This is a code red. The system is backed up. I knew I should have made a shulker loader for it. I've got too much honey, repeat. I've got too much honey. The machine is so well made that nothing broke. It's just all absolutely fine. So I guess any extra honey would just keep on going round because it couldn't fit in the system, which is pretty impressive. And whilst I'm doing the farm run, might as well go and see how the old cobblestone farm's doing. Pretty solid. Quite a few. Oh, okay, well, yeah, whoa. That's way too much cobble. Time to switch this this thing off. That's all another great thing, but this also needs shulker box loaders. Did lose a few items from the water mishap as well, so I'm just going home to get them. I'm pretty sure it's just 4 moss and 1 comparator that needs replenishing, but I'm also going to grab a stack. Well, I'm not going to grab a stack of ice from there. Instead, I'll grab it from here, so then I don't have to place water with the buckets. It'll just be easier with the ice. Also, guys, if you're new, please could you subscribe, because I'm forcing this villager to look at this board until I get to 4 million. And he's not got a very good life. So hashtag free the villager by subscribing. Anyway, now I'm going to get back to building. And back to placing water without destroying the entire machine. I also forgot to bring another very important item. The glazed terracotta. I've left it in the furnaces. So I'm going to offload everything into this chest. And I can use the opportunity to nip home and get loads of bone meal as well. Because the machine, whilst very efficient, does use a lot of it. The good thing about that, however, is that I have a massive EOL farm that has got me a ridiculous amount of bones. So filling the machine with all of that should not be a problem. Might as well also convert the extra honey and take them back to my house. Also, here's the much needed glazed terracotta, which will allow me to continue the build. It is almost complete. Just need some lava in there. No, not there. Inside the cauldron. And I also need to set up item filters, and these are going to be the bits that make the bone meal. So any item that the farm can produce, as you'll see, all the things like saplings and stuff like that will be made. And then they go into here, and some of them are becoming compost under there. The sticks, however, will just go through into the lava in that cauldron. So it's very, very renewable indeed. I also need to add the final borders for the final water stream. Now to also get the water itself in. And both of these need to be filled all the way to the top with water. And unfortunately, I don't quite have enough ice for that. So I'll have to pop home to top up. Now let's get this filled up. And I want to grab a fortune pickaxe, because otherwise it would just take me 6 million years to mine them all. These other 2 water columns also need filling. And now the final thing to be built is a massive slab roof. There we go. Also begin the mass crafting spree of bone meal, and these will all be put into this chest right here, where they'll end up in this dispenser. So I want enough to fill up this dispenser, this hopper, and some of this chest. But to do that, I'm probably going to have to craft a load more shulker boxes. I've decided that all of these are going to be enough. Dyeing them all is pretty unnecessary, but I don't know. I just feel like for OCD purposes, I have to do it. All of them can go there, and the final one can actually go into the machine, where this hopper will be taking the bone meal out and starting to put it into the droppers. Now, they won't move until the redstone starts, though. And the farm is pretty much complete. The very final thing the farm needs is not for me to fall down there, but that's to be a boat placed right there that's aligned with the blocks behind me and has blocks pushed into it. The only way I could think to do it was using observers. They're basically the only bit of redstone items I had left. I'm pretty thin on the ground for things like redstone blocks. But then to use the farm, I would just take the saplings out of there and then place them. I'd look there and I'd keep getting moved around and place them. However, there is one small extra issue with the farm. Also, if you're wondering why this day was so quick, I had to spend quite a bit of time just making sure everything was correct, and there was 1 or 2 fixes where water had turned to ice, so I had to fix that. But yeah, why isn't it ready? Why can't I just go straight out and use it now? Well, blocks are going to get pushed out of here extremely fast, and then from here, they're going to get pushed downwards. And once that piston reaches the push limit, then the whole machine will jam and the whole machine will break. So whilst this farm will produce loads and loads of dirt, in order to get the dirt, I need to create a blast chamber, which is a whole nother big project to make a really efficient one that will not break and can keep up with this farm. And guys, as you can see, the sun has set. So that was 5,400 days in hardcore Minecraft.